Normally when you think of epic films, you think of larger-than-life scenarios that transport you from your normal, everyday life. Classic examples of epics include David Lean's Lawrence of Arabia, William Wyler's Ben-Hur, and Ridley Scott's Gladiator. Usually a male-driven hero is the prime example of epics, but I'm here to discuss with you the possibility and known films that include feminist protagonists and does so well. While these films are great, that's not what I'm here to talk about, and I will include the 3 examples that I planned on using in my video presentation. Dr. Zhivago, which is also directed by David Lean from 1965, Il Gatto Pardo by Luciano Visconti in 1963, and Gone with the Wind in 1939 are going to be my 3 movies. Dr. Zhivago is the protagonist, but the main star, I would argue, is Laura, as she exhibits the main heroic heroes that are usually derived from the male character. Her stone-cold attitude is what usually is attributed to a male, and in Dr. Zhivago, Zhivago exhibits very emotional qualities and internalizes the happenings around him. The film was heavily criticized as Zhivago himself presented passivity and was an observer to the actions surrounding him. Zhivago is described as a poet and otherwise given traits seen as emasculating, which is unlike Laura. As the love interest, Laura had equal or greater significance in terms of the importance to the overall film. Her dramatic stature is pivotal to the feminist portrayal in film, as she is described by director Lean himself as central to the emotional involvement in the film. With Visconti's 1963 Il Gatto Pardo, or The Leopard, the decay of the bourgeois and stylistic filming of formalism come together to create an aesthetic of the upper-class neorealism. Although not a very overly feminist film, the film does discuss the vulgar and dismissive treatment of the women in it, particularly with the strategy of marrying Angelica off for prestige and recognition to raise awareness to these normalized female plights within the storyline. By showing the females in his movies in such a light, it helped emphasize the decay of an old lifestyle of the bourgeois that Visconti was known to always commentate on with his films. And finally we end with Fleming's 1939 Gone with the Wind, that is arguably the greatest feminist epic to date. Unlike Dr. Zhivago and Il Gatto Pardo, Gone with the Wind stars a female and is completely concerned with her, and is wholly empathetic in its portrayal of a female doing what it is she pleases, and in order to do what she has to do to survive. Scarlett unabashedly acts opposite to the role expected of her status and was famously viewed as powerful despite her flaws on film. By unabashedly acting opposite to the role expected of her status, she was famously viewed as powerful despite the supposed flaw on film. This trope only serves to embolden women in cinema in a positive light versus the stigma that this term Southern Belle has outside of it. Traditions of the South permit women a seething sexuality as well as a shattering vulnerability. This role garnered Scarlett her mastery to secure the survival of her family as well as herself. This film ultimately ends up as a prime example of feminist filmmaking.
God is my witness. I'll never be hungry again.